That's what you are.
Unforgettable, though near or far.
Like a song of love that clings to me, how the thought of you does things to me never before. Someone been
Unforgettable in every way.
and forevermore. That's how you'll stay.
That's how you'll stay.
That's why, darling, it's incredible that someone so unforgettable thinks that I am unforgettable too. Forevermore. That's how you stay.
That's how you stay.
That's why, darling, it's incredible that someone so unforgettable thinks that I am unforgettable too. This is a beautiful love song. It actually has a little bit of meaning to me because I was a part of this musical in high school called The Music Man. If you've ever seen The Music Man, there's a scene in The Music Man where the guy who's been trying to drum up the band has fallen in love with a librarian named Marion, and she's standing on this bridge, and she sings this song, and it's called Till There Was You.
There were bells on a hill, but I never heard them ringing. No, I never heard them at all till
something about
We're going to take just a break, and I think
being
Betty
able to sing these songs is just wonderful. Because there was a time in my life when I was married to a Marine, and we were stationed at New River Air Station in North Carolina, and right next to that was Geiger, which was another Marine Corps station, and then there was Camp Lejeune. And in each one of those camps there was an officers club and an enlisted club. And my husband was an officer, and we went to a party one night, and there was a combo there. And I didn't have any friends in the officers club yet because he had just made officer. So while he mingled with his officer friends, I just kind of mingled and ended up over by the combo. And because I love that kind of music. And so I was sitting over there singing to their whatever they were playing. And one of them brought me a microphone. And he said, I think you need this microphone. And I said, okay. So I was privileged to be able to sing with them a little bit that night. So during their break, they offered me a job. And so I got to sing with this combo in six different service clubs. And kept us kind of busy, but then Bob had to go overseas, so I gave it up. I didn't feel like that would be the thing to do for me to do. Singing Sunday school, singing the choir on Sunday and the service clubs on Friday and Saturday nights. It just didn't jive, especially if your husband was overseas. So that's just a little bit of a story behind my being able to reminisce a little bit, and then the songs that I chose, I'm not real sure, but you know, life happens, and so you'll hear some of this. Okay. Now you say you're lonely, you cry the whole night through. Well, you can cry me a river, I cried a river, I cried a river over you. And now you say you're sorry for being so untrue. Well, you can cry me a river, cry me a river, I cry a river over you. You drove me, nearly drove me out of my head, while you didn't shed a tear. Remember, I remember all that you said. You told me love was too bloody. You told me you were through with me, and now you say you love me. Well, just to prove you do, come on and cry me a river, cry me a river. I cried a river over you. You drove me, nearly drove me out of my head. While you never shed a tear. I remember all that you said. You told me love was too plebeian, told me you were through with me, and now you say you love me. Well, just to prove you do, come on and cry me a river. I cried a river, I cried a river over you.
Want to share anything in between?
Well, I think you said you had a story.
Well, I mean, yeah.
Richard always has a story.
Well, the one thing I was going to share, I'm not sure what we're talking about, but I'll share this.
About
Giving a gift. Oh. Yes. Well, yes. Back when I was in the 7th grade. No, sorry, second grade. I didn't go far enough. I was at Crowley Chapel Elementary School in Forestdale, and it was Valentine's Day, and back then everybody, made their Valentines, or you bought them at the store or whatever, and you carried them to school, and it was a big deal to hand them out. Well, if you were really a romantic or really special, you would have something extra for that one person. Well, I really wanted to give this one girl something, but I was too scared, too chicken. And then later that day, I got in the car to go home and really felt bad about it, and knew that, I really liked this girl, and as much as a second grader can. And so I talked Mom into stopping at the drugstore, and we bought this little candy heart thing, much like what's sitting right at the middle of your table. And we drove over to her house. We had to ask a few questions to figure out where she lived. We found it, and I walked to the door, and it was very odd, very awkward, and because I think a parent opened the door and they're like, "Why are you here?" And I asked if the daughter was there, the little girl was there, and she came to the door, and I handed it to her, and she kind of looked at it and looked at me, said, "Okay, bye," and just slammed the door in my face.
First love, man.
Oh, let me tell you, it was not how I envisioned it happening. So there was a lot of little heartbreaks along the way, and but eventually met Susie in college and fell in love, and but even the beginning, our first date was so awkward. I carried her out to eat, and many of you know me. Now, in front of a crowd, when you put a mic in front of me, I can kind of talk and do those things. But if you put me in a one-on-one situation or a small situation, I tend to be a lot more quiet and reserved. And so we spent this entire meal almost saying nothing. And I didn't have any backup plans. I mean, we went to I think it was Steak and Ale or something over in Center Point area. I don't think the restaurant's even there anymore now. But we went and we ate there, and it was like, okay. I looked at my watch, and it's like 7:30.
What do we do now?
Literally, I said, I looked at her and said, I got nothing. I don't know. And she said, well, we were both music majors, and she said, well, do you want to go back to the house and just play and sing on the piano? I said, I just happened. And I looked back in the back seat, and I promise you, I had a stack of music this tall. And we carried the music into her house, and I was sitting at the piano, and we were playing and singing, and Josie walks in about 30 minutes later, and we sang trios the rest of the night. So that's that's the good story. That's the good ending.
All right, this one is Blue Moon. You saw me standing alone, without a dream in my heart, without a love of my own. Blue moon, you knew just what I was there for. You heard me saying a prayer for someone I really could care for. And then there suddenly appeared before me the only one my arms would ever hold. I heard somebody whisper, please adore me. And when I looked, the moon had turned to gold. The blue moon. Now I'm no longer alone, without a dream in my heart, without a love of my own. And then there suddenly appeared before me the only one my arms would ever hold. I heard somebody whisper, please adore me. And when I looked, the moon had turned to gold. Blue moon. Now I'm no longer alone, without a dream in my heart, without a love of my own. I don't have anything to say about this one. It's just a better story. That's a good evening. Fly me to the moon and let me play among the stars. Let me see what spring is like on Jupiter and Mars. In other words, hold my hand. In other words, darling, kiss me. Fill my heart with joy and let me sing forevermore. You are all I long for, all I worship and adore. In other words, please be true. In other words, I love you. This is for You're supposed to dance. There's no words to this part.
Dance, Maggie. Dance,
See
Maggie.
yourself.
Dance, Maggie.
Fly me to the moon and let me play among the stars. Let me see what spring is like on Jupiter. In other words, hold my hand. In other words, darling, kiss me. Fill my heart with song and let me sing forevermore. You are all I long for, all I worship and adore. In other words, please be true. In other words, I love you. Fly me to the moon and let me play among the stars. Let me see what spring is like on Jupiter and Mars. In other words, hold my hand. In other words, darling, kiss me. Fill my heart with song and let me sing forevermore. You are all I long for, all I worship and adore. In other words, please be true. In other words, I love you. In other words, I love you.
Thank you, Josie. Okay. Good.
All right. Like I said before, I was married to a Marine. And Marines, dependents don't get to go with them when they go overseas. And so for 3 different times that Bob went to Okinawa and Japan and Korea, of course we stayed at home. And so after one period that he was gone for 13 months, I wrote this poem, and I'd just like to share it. And you can, this just gives you an idea of what life is like. And I know that most of you know when your mate goes away, you're responsible for everything. This is called An Eternity. And my glasses, my bifocals don't work too well. I was out one morning hanging clothes when I heard my neighbor call out, "Oh my dear, I see your husband's back from Vietnam. Sure don't seem like he's been gone a year." Well, now I knew that she meant well, but it was the worst thing she could ever say to me. It may not seem like a year to you, honey, but to me, it's been an eternity. It's been flu, tonsillitis, stomach aches, and wall-to-wall chicken pox. It's been a half dozen stitches in Junior's head caused by a neighbor boy's flying rocks. It's been leaky faucets and appliances that all give out within 1 month's last time. And the repairman who couldn't come for 2 weeks. I tell you, it's a crime. 2 weeks of washing dirty diapers out by hand can really be a chore. What do you mean you don't stock parts for that model anymore? It's fixing that especially nice dinner and hearing the oldest say, "Remember how much Daddy liked roast beef? I wish he didn't have to be away." It's that overwhelming sense of absolute total responsibility for the children's health, training, discipline, education, and safety. Should I let him build that tree house? What if he falls out and breaks his leg or arm? If I do get her for that bike, can I depend on her to think so it does her no harm? It's been mountains of bills and payments and paperwork I try to keep up to date. Insurance premiums, tax forms, registration blanks, and license plates. It will be so bad if I could understand the words I read, but written in double top and fine print, I wondered where it was all going to lead. It's been letter after letter, hundreds of them, that I live off of like food. Cheery, newsy, silly, sad, irate, and lonesome, whatever fit the mood. There were times when I couldn't think of anything else that I hadn't already been told. It was times like these that I would just give the world just to have him there to hold. It's been those nights, those long and lonely nights, when all those nightmarish thoughts ran through my head. Where is he? Is he safe? What's he doing? Oh, how I wish he were here beside me in bed. It's the feeling you get when you watch the tender love scene on a TV late show. It's those disturbing crank calls when all you hear is someone breathing way down low. Or it's someone telling me, "We don't have any business over there." And then there are those who don't even know we're over there and simply do not care. It's people who say to me, "I don't know how you manage. You're so brave." But they don't know how many times I wondered if all this wouldn't drive me to my grave. But having faith in God, I knew that walking hand in hand with him, I'd win. He brought him back to us in one piece. Thank God, considering where he'd been. So let me warn you, friend, if you don't want to see this worn-out gal shed a tear, don't say, "I see your husband's back. It sure doesn't seem like he's been gone a year." Thank you.
Thank you, Josie. That was an original. This is an old country song by George Morgan called "Candy Kisses." Candy kisses, oh, wrapped in paper, mean more to you than any of mine. Candy kisses, wrapped in paper, you'd rather have them in your time. You don't mean it when you whisper those sweet love words in my ear. Candy kisses, wrapped in paper, mean more to you than mine do, dear. I built a castle out of dreams, dear, and I thought that you were building too. But now my castles, oh, they all have fallen, and I am left Oh, once my heart was filled with gladness, now there's sadness, only tears, candy kisses wrapped in paper mean more to you than mine do, dear. Come on, Josie. Now, don't look at me that way. That just feels weird now. That's weird singing a love song with your mother-in-law now, I tell you. I'm just...
Sing to the recording.
Love me tender, love me sweet, never let me go. You have made my life complete, and I love you so. Love me tender, love me true, all my dreams fulfill. For my darling, I love you, and I always will. Love me tender, love me long, take me to your heart, for is there that I belong and will never part. Love me tender, love me true,